Hi everyone, Dr. Peter Hughes here, your Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the application process for gifted and talented. Every January, we open up the application process to all second through seventh grade students. So second through seventh grade students are welcome to be nominated in this process. So let's talk a little bit about this. First of all, if your child is already identified to be in the gifted and talented program, they stay in the program until eighth grade. There is no reason to continuously nominate them or have them selected. If they are in one program, I automatically consider them for the other based on their progress. So there's really nothing more for you to do as parents to nominate. But if your child is not in the program and you really want to consider them for it, there are two ways to be considered. The first is if the teacher nominates your child. If the teacher nominates your child, I will send you a nomination form as well as a parent. If the parent nominates the student, I send a nomination form out to the teacher. It's always those two recommendation letters that I take a look at, along with a number of other factors. But let me talk a little bit about the levels of gifted and talented we offer. In K through 2, we do not formally identify students and label them gifted and talented. There's a number of reasons for this. Number one, the reliability of test scores is not great among K through second. Also, number two, maturity level and the natural development of children is still in process. So what we do instead is we actually leave it up to teacher discretion to find those students that are already above grade level in certain areas, and then they differentiate within those areas. Students do not get more work, they get different work inside of the K through 2 classrooms. However, in 3 through 5 and 6 through 8, we actually offer two different programs. One is the Aspire program, it's an after-school enrichment program, and the other is Curriculum Plus, which is a curriculum replacement program that occurs during the school day. And both of those programs are available 3 through 8th grade. 9th through 12th, gifted and talented no longer is formalized, and instead students are available to take a number of honors and AP courses, replacing the need to really do G&T instruction. A lot of students have choice in these areas, and I always encourage students to take the most rigorous curriculum that they're able to take and be successful in. So let's talk a little bit about the selection process. We always use multiple measures. Multiple measures start with the teacher and parent recommendations. I look at standardized test scores, in particular the COGATs from 3rd grade, PARCC scores, whatever their last scores are, CAT testing, which is a placement test, it's California Achievement Test. It's a norm referenced assessment that's given in the spring to those students who are being considered for the program. And we do a STAR 360 assessment that's done throughout the year. Finally, I do a writing sample for the students who are nominated for the Gifted and Talented program. All of these pieces are then evaluated by a selection committee in August. We start Gifted and Talented in the next October, so there's a little bit of time there. We usually notify parents in the first week of school whether or not students are selected. So there are two stages to the selection process. Stage one is we collect all the information, both from the nomination forms as well as considering of test scores, and I'll make an initial selection of who's going to take the placement test or not. If students really are not up to snuff with their test scores, I usually won't subject them to extra testing because I find it a waste of their time because they're not really in the running for the Gifted and Talented program. In the second stage, students are then administered the CAT tests and a writing sample, and I wait for the next PARCC scores to come out before making final placements. So this does delay the process quite a bit. It usually winds up running into the first week of September. So if you don't get a letter until the first week of September, we're actually waiting on those scores. Once those letters come out, they'll tell you specifically how your child scored in these areas, as well as on the placement test. So they're really helpful for you as a parent to see where your student was strong and maybe not so strong. So it's really nice and informative for you. This is a sample of a writing sample that was used in 2015. I asked students to describe an invention that they would make and how it would have an impact on society and what problem it would solve. I was looking for kids who were actually very creative in their thought process, but also civic minded and really looking to solve a bigger world problem. Students from third grade all the way up answered this writing prompt, and I scored it using a rubric. This is a sample of the type of nonlinear creative process that I'm looking for in students. We have two programs, as I discussed. The Aspire program is our after-school and weekend enrichment program. It meets weekly with a certified teacher before or after school, and it sometimes includes trips and competitions. For example, last year we went to the Makerspace, and students competed in an engineering challenge. Our selection criteria for Aspire, I'm looking for at least 1.5 in one area of the park. They should be in the region of a 114 to 130 on the COGAT test. They should be in the 90s in at least one or more section of the CAT test. And they should be above the 90th percentiles on the STAR 360 assessments. A writing sample sometimes also will push kids that are on the border above, and will accept more students into the program based on their creative thought process, which is not gauged by a lot of those standardized tests. The Curriculum Plus program is very selective. That's the in-school curriculum replacement. It's only for students that have demonstrated mastery in their current grade level. In other words, in school, they're not being challenged enough. The idea is to actually give them higher level work, and we do have a curriculum that's written for it. It's extremely selective and dependent on areas of strength. So if a student is not strong in fractions, but is strong in another area of mathematics like statistics, they may have the Curriculum Plus curriculum in the statistics portion, but not in the other area. So that's how it works. Our selection criteria for Curriculum Plus is scores of 5 in both areas of the park. They are 130 or above typically on the COGAT test. They're above the 95th percentiles on STAR 360s and CAT tests. They usually have a strong writing sample that shows creative ability and strong masterful writing skills. So whatever grade level it is, we compare that and the age, but we can always pick out who's got really high level of ability in writing. So that's how we do that assessment. Now, I always come upon some frequently asked questions. Number one, I've already addressed. Once accepted, do I have to nominate my child from year to year? No. In fact, you will be wasting your time to do so. Once accepted, your student automatically goes into the same program that they were in the previous year. Do I have to apply for my child next year to get into Curriculum Plus if they're in Aspire now? The truth is, I could do that, but I don't do it. I look for whether or not the child has grown significantly academically, and that usually means the child has 2 5s in the park assessment. So sometimes when kids go specifically from elementary school to middle school, if they up their park scores, I usually consider them for both programs. And our transfer students automatically considered for the program if they were in G&T in another district. The answer to that is no, because every district has different criteria for acceptance. What we do is take students on a case-by-case basis and look at their test scores. What we're looking for is students that are incredibly strong academically, but also creative thinkers. So depending on the district that the student's coming from, they may have used different assessments. So that needs to be gauged individually. If we don't have enough information to go by, we wait until the spring when the student tests formally for our process. I hope that this was really helpful to you, and I hope it raised some awareness as well as answered some questions. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate in calling and contacting us. We're always welcome to speak with you. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.